Hey y'all. I've started a new YouTube channel where I cook foods from video games, bringing the console to the kitchen. There's a link in the description, and if you like what you see, I'd be real appreciative if you subscribed. Let's get baked at Dakon's Bakehouse. Hey there, my fellow lunatics. Dakin the Mad here. And while Jade and all of the other important Grounded 2 YouTubers are out in Los Angeles, I figured we should take a look at this brand new story trailer that just dropped so that maybe by the time they come back, we'll all have some basic understanding of what's going on in here and they can help us fill in the blanks with all of their special knowledge. So with that, let's go ahead and just break down this trailer section by section. We're going to take a look at each little screenshot and see if there's anything interesting, anything that catches our eye. So let's get started. All right, so this first screenshot is a scene that we have seen before. It's the Burgle and Wendell statue. We've seen this in other screenshots, but this is just a slightly different angle, which gives us a better view of the grass and the yard itself. We can see that there are dandelions as well as some thick stems, regular grass, dried grass. So there's a nice combination of stuff around here, which means it's probably a prime building area. Maybe even at the top of these steps here, I bet we'll see a lot of bases start to pop up at the top of these little steps. I also noticed that there is the plug over here with a, I also noticed that there's a socket over here with something plugged into it. I know we've seen this before in the first Grounded, and it's a nice little indicator that, okay, we're still going to have the same little thing to go up, climb, and maybe grab a milk molar or some loot or whatever. But yeah, nothing really new in this scene, just a lot of confirmation of stuff that we already know. All right, now for this one, we can see just an entrance. It's still a lot more of the same. I'm not really noticing anything new or interesting here, although I will notice some of the grass has like seeds on top of it, or like what are those things called that grass, like dandelion has yeah, I think they're seeds, plant seeds. Anyway, it's almost like wheat, you've got these slightly different grass stalks here. Maybe it's a different kind of grass. Maybe this is the material we need to gather for some of those new building pieces that we've seen. You can also see the overturned cart and some frozen grass over in the background and a sprinkler. Usually where there's a sprinkler, there's a slight pool of water and there's often mosquitoes. So that's something that we should keep in mind. There should be a decent amount of water here. Maybe it's on the other side of this little eminent hill, or maybe it's in this little gap down here on the right-hand side that's like a little cliff. Maybe that goes down to some water. Who knows? We get another view of some of the plants in this screenshot, though. You can see in the top right, we've got more of that little weed grass. And then we've got what looks like in Grounded 1 was the lily pad flower, but now it's on a different kind of grass stem of some sort. So we've got some new flowers as well. So here's our new ominent Dr. Schmechter. Slightly different personality, slightly different person, but probably just as evil. Running labs and doing experiments in the park. But what are they doing and what's their moral compass? Well, she probably thinks of herself as better than Schmechter and not nearly as morally bankrupt, but I'm willing to bet she's just as evil and just as bankrupt, just in a completely different way. So with this Brook Hollow City Park project, we've got an image of the park itself. We've got this food truck, we've got a fountain area, there's a little pool, there's a playground. So it's possible that what we're looking at is kind of an overview of the entire park. Now, there may not be a playground area right now, but that could be something that's coming in the future. We've got a big building in the background. Maybe that is got some sort of thing like maybe we can go inside the house like we couldn't do in Grounded 1. We can actually potentially maybe go into a building in this one. I don't know. I haven't seen this building before, and I don't know if any of this is actually going to be in the park. But if this is what the whole park is supposed to look like, then the starting area is probably right over here by the statue. And then the rest of it is all the stuff that we'll eventually get in the future. All right, here's another good angle of the statue showing off the yard. We've got that food truck that we saw in the previous image. It's the Billy Hogs food truck, and a podium, which I think we're going to see a close-up of that a little bit later. The podium was set up for the speech. I don't think that's normally there. We've got a picnic table, so the picnic table's coming back just in a slightly different form. Now, I'm not sure about this, but look at this tree over here on the right. The tree is very reflective at its base, so it kind of looks like there's a lot of water over here. I'm not sure if we're going to get a little tiny pond or if that's just more like the tree stump in Grounded 1, where there's just little bits of pools of water here and there, but nothing major. This may not even be water at all. It may be something completely different, and I'm just seeing it wrong. But to me, over here on the right, under this tree next to the picnic table, there looks to be like some sort of water aspect. We've also got a hedge in the background, so it may be possible that that's just like a barrier wall for the game, but we could also maybe be able to climb around in there. Having another hedge area would be interesting, although personally, I'd like to see some new biomes. I mean, repeating the picnic, repeating the hedge, repeating the general grasslands, it's fine, it's nostalgic, but let's see some new stuff. That's why I hope we get to go inside the Billy Hog stand and explore around in there, because that would be fun and a completely different kind of biome. Or at the very least, hopefully we can go under it and get access to some cool stuff there. All right, and with this image, we have got a shot of the overturned ice cream cart showing us the little frozen area, as well as giving us some relevance as to where it is in relation to the statue for Burgle. Behind it, we've got a pagoda of some sort, and this is just what I was talking about, some different kind of biome structures, and the pagoda looks like it's going to be a little bit different. I mean, it's not very different, but it's at least something. And based on the fact that there's some roots up here at the top, as well as hanging plants, I'm willing to bet that there are some secret things up in the top that we can get to. Maybe if we build up there or get a flying mount or something along those lines. I don't know if there's ever going to be a flying buggy or not, but it would be cool if there was one. We also can see that there are a bunch of sprinklers. We've got this one in the foreground here. We've got one in the background over here. There's another one over by the podium a little bit. We've got trash cans, several different trash cans. We've got a speaker system right here in the middle, so that's kind of a cool little mini environment. Be cool if we could go inside the speaker. That would be really neat. We've got a close-up of the new picnic table. And we can see that maybe I am wrong about the water stuff over here by the trees. Maybe it was just a cliff that I was seeing, and it might have just been a perspective issue, that there's a bunch of actual grass over here, and it just looked like water because I wasn't seeing a reflection. Maybe I was just seeing the roots coming down. So I don't know yet, but we'll see when we get into it, won't we? The picnic table looks very similar to the one in the first Grounded game, although we do have this cloth instead this time, but we still have a little cooler that we can probably knock around and do stuff with. And it looks like on the other side, there's an overturned book or some other thing. It's probably the ramp that lets us get up to the top. I'm not quite sure what this red and yellow thing is here. At first, I thought maybe this is a flare or a battery or something, but then it looks like it's got these two little metal legs attached to it. So I don't know if this is a tool or what. I'm not sure what this is. If you have an idea, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Let me know. All right, so we've got a trash can here, and you can see some stink coming off of it. So clearly we're still going to have some haze elements, kind of like how the trash heap was in Grounded 1. I don't see an obvious entrance into the Billy Hog area, but that doesn't mean that there isn't one somewhere, or at the very least that there isn't access underneath. It kind of just looks like a cover here, and we might be able to slip under it. Other than that, though, I am not really noticing anything new or special in this image. If you see anything, please let me know. All right, so this is the podium, and we can see a crow feather, so that at least lets us know that the crow is definitely returning. And it looks like some breath mints here on the table as well. So we've got our mint aspect. And there's a little spider web down here at the very bottom. I'm not sure if that's player made, and you're going to need the orb weaver spider buggy to be able to get up into this area or not, or if that's just part of the actual map. But either way, it's kind of neat that this is very vertical and you got to figure out a way to climb up through it to get to the top. I think it would be cool if you have to come up through the middle area where the microphone cable is to be able to get up here. Looking around at the rest of the background, I'm not really noticing anything truly special. Lots of the same stuff that we've seen before. We can see some mushrooms. We haven't seen much in the way of mushrooms, I don't think, in previews yet. But now that we can see some mushrooms here on the ground, I think it'll be clear that mushroom buildings and mushroom stuff is still in the game. So this room does seem kind of normal. It's just some grass, maybe inside an Ominent facility. But I'm curious about this little console area here in the foreground. It looks almost like an analytical station. And the little TV screen, I am completely blanking on the name of the TV terminal and everything. But what if in Grounded 2, instead of having separate like analyzers and scanners and everything else just in the same little lab hut, it's all been combined into a single building, a single piece of technology, so that this is our lab area now that we find out in the fields. Maybe instead of a full field lab, we now just have this little console system periodically. It's very similar to like the Omni tool being put together, where we used to have separate tools. Now it all gets put into one. So maybe they're doing the same thing with our milk molar learning and resource analyzing. In this screenshot, we've got an ant in the foreground. We've got beds in the background, as well as a water cooler in the background. So we know that at least those aspects are returning. Same thing here. It's just some larvae. At least we know the larva creature is returning. Otherwise, this is just a normal Ominent facility. This looks like a research area for the buggies. As you can see in the background, there is some lab stuff, whiteboard things about people riding on ants. And then we've got the little egg kind of suspended in the very center. We've got another whiteboard here that gives us, I don't know if this gives us anything useful or interesting, but this does tell a story. It's just a matter of understanding what the story is. With this bug brain surgery, it looks like this may be something related to the orc technology, and in their effort to control the various insects using the orc technology. Don't know if this will give us any new features. Maybe we might be able to control our own bugs and utilize the orc tech ourselves. Who knows? This is a blink and you'll miss it screenshot. And again, I don't really know if it's showing us anything new. My guess actually is whatever this weird gray object is on the shelf, that may be some sort of new resource that we can pick up. But that is just a guess. It could be decoration, but it kind of looks like, one of the like brittle or sturdy rocks that we get. I don't know why I'm blanking on all of the official terms for these things right now, but I am. We also can see camera shots of different areas of the yard. I'm not quite sure where each one of these areas are, because they're very, very blurry images, and my eyesight is starting to go as I get older. But if you've got shopper eyesight, or you can kind of zoom in a little bit and get a look at that and see if you can figure out if there's anything new and interesting in these yard images. We've also got an area that looks like it's been messed up. Like maybe this is a ruined lab or some sort of abandoned lab. And we've got this cool little purple symbol. Now, we've seen this purple graffiti all over the map in different areas, and I'm not really sure who it belongs to. I know the popular guess right now is it's the fifth teenager. I don't know if I buy into that personally. We'll see. I feel like the fifth teenager was already answered in the first Grounded game, and the fifth teenager is dead. The teen ran out, did their own thing, found a camping spot, and then died while making a journal entry. You can find their death note in Grounded 1. So if this is another teenager that got shrunk down, I don't think this is our 15. I think this is probably some sort of other teenager or kid that had been kidnapped earlier during Schmechter's experiments before us. Then we've also got this blink and you'll miss it scene, which I know has been sent out a lot on various social medias. and it says, "Where do they bury the other teenagers?" This little graffiti. So this also, in my opinion, reinforces that this is not the fifth teen from Grounded 1, but maybe some other teenager. Because we did see in the milk carton in Grounded 1 that there were other missing teens. And so my guess, again, is that this is just a teenager that was kidnapped at some point, but is not the fifth teen. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see if I'm wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whatever it is, whichever teenager it is, we definitely know that this teenager does not like our new female director, as we've got this clip here where they've X'd out her face. So my guess is that she did something to this teenager and screwed them over, as well as some other kids, and they're out for revenge. I know this scene is very cinematic and we've kind of seen it before, but we see a flare drop down to reveal a cockroach. And I think that would be really cool if we got access to flares. I go back and forth on whether I find flares useful in a game, but I think I would find them useful in Grounded, at least in the sense that in Grounded 1, there were many instances where I was using a two-handed weapon and just did not have a light source. And so I'd either be fighting in darkness, or I'd have to switch to a one-handed weapon and equip a light. So having a flare that I can drop on the ground and then continue to use my two-handed weapon while I'm fighting would be really, really useful for me. I like this scene because it shows us that each one of the gloves are going to be customized. We've got one for each color. So hopefully you have a little bit more control yourself and you can change your own colors, but at the very least, we know we've got each one of the main characters has a color theme attached to them. You know, I believe Max is yellow, Hoops is pink, Willow is blue, usually purple, and Petey is often green. So here we go. Here are the gloves that they can use for their various scabbies. These are the new upgraded scabbies, essentially. I find it interesting also that the new director in the story trailer mentions that they don't use teenagers. And right as she mentions that, we get this scene where we see Max, Willow, Hoops, and Petey all just standing up, freshly miniaturized. So I guess the question becomes, why are they getting miniaturized? If they're not using teens, who called upon our teens to get shrunk again and go down and save things in the park? I mean, I'm thinking Ominate is asking for our help. I'm curious to see what the story hook is that pulls all of our characters into all of this. We've got a shot here of Hoops going up towards some mites. So if we didn't have confirmation that mites were in the game, we absolutely have confirmation now. So with this shot, we see, I think that's Hoops. Yeah, coming up to an egg. As we know, we're going to be able to hatch eggs for our own buggies. But what's interesting to me here is the armor she's wearing. Looks like a redesign of the spider armor. And I think we've seen this already, but this close-up looks really, really cool. And then we've got another armor shot here. Again, we've still got Hoops with the same armor as before, holding that egg that she was coming up upon. But behind her, we've got Max in, looks like an upgraded form of the grass armor from Grounded 1. But then we have got Petey over here. I think that's Petey. No, wait, I'm sorry. That's Willow in the background, and that's Max on the left here. Yeah, we've got Max on the left, and he's got some sort of new armor. My guess is that this is cockroach armor, or at the very least, the chest is cockroach armor. It just has that kind of look to it. The helmet is interesting. The multi-eyes, it looks spider-like, but not the same kind of spider, obviously, that Hoops is wearing. So I'm not sure if that actually is a spider, or maybe it's an infected spider armor or something. Might be something completely different. He's also got some sort of hammer equipped, and I can't really make out the details of this hammer. I can't tell if it's ant parts or if it's maybe spicy chunks that have all been taped together. We'll see, I guess. Here's a clearer shot of some of it. You can see a little bit more of the hammer, but I still can't quite make out exactly what it is. It looks like some sort of wood base with red parts sticking out of it. And the red parts to me could easily be an ant chunk of some kind or spicy candy. And buggy shots. We've got Hoops with really cool looking armor. This does not look like the armor she was wearing before. It almost looks like she's wearing some sort of plate mail now, or much more modern style body armor. It's black, or at least a dark gray, so my guess is it's either a black ant or a beetle of some sort. But one thing I do want to notice is that in the background, on the right-hand side, I can't tell if that's a spray of mist or if that's a fog or just smoke. So there's something over there in the background that could easily be maybe a hot area, like that could be the fire pit, and that's where we have to go to get Everchar charcoal pieces, or maybe even some new heat-related stuff. I kind of like the design of the new Dead Ominent employees. It has this 1950s Russian kind of vibe to it, with the hat and the gray, very utilitarian outfit, as well as these gas masks. And with the fact that some of them are wearing gas masks indicates to me that we probably have another haze area of some kind somewhere. I'm very curious what this hat is on the top of Hoops over here on the left. It looks like she's wearing a ladybug helm, but then she's got something else on top of it, this black thing. For a brief moment, I was like, why is Hoops wearing a bowler hat? But now that I'm taking a closer look at it, I'm like, no, that's definitely not what it is, but it is interesting. I'm curious, what is this and what might it do? Is there maybe an attachment that you can put onto certain pieces of armor? Like maybe we could attach a light to any piece of armor, kind of like we could do in 7 Days to Die, where you have modifiers and attachments you can put onto gear. That would be really cool if we could upgrade and customize our gear with various attachments. Although I haven't seen anything in the game yet or in their announcements to indicate that that's actually happening. So if it is, awesome. If not, now, well. Another shot of more armor. I'm not quite sure if this shot of Hoops is showing us a gas mask or just a spider mask of some kind. But we definitely get a view here of some dual weapons, like maybe little hand-to-hand or unarmed strikes. I'm not quite sure. It looks kind of like the kind of weapon that you would use for unarmed fighting. But one thing that interests me with this armor set and even this weapon set is it's got lots of, I don't want to say like teeth, sharp points attached to it, lots of bits of bone. So I'm not sure what kind of animal this is coming from or what kind of insect this is coming from. If you guys have any theories or ideas as to what kind of maybe beetle or some other kind of bug that we could maybe be using that has a gray tint to it, let me know. I like the upgrade to the ladybugs. We can see that the mouth has like little feeler things in it. It's kind of gross, but it's the first thing I noticed when I saw this ladybug charging at me. I figured, I at least mention that. I like the update to the graphics. You know, maybe this was the helm that was being worn on that buggy shot where it looked like two hats in one, but it actually is only one metal helmet with chain kind of neck thing coming down to protect you, as well as an upgraded ladybug shield. And that's clearly upgraded ladybug armor. Maybe this whole thing is what the new ladybug set looks like. I kind of like it. Although I do miss the ladybug mask that Grounded One had. I really liked the way that mask was designed. And with this shot of Pete, we've got some magic stuff, as this clearly looks like a mage set. He's holding up a staff. He's got that third eye looking tiara kind of crown. And this chest piece looks strange and bulky, but functional, I guess you could say. I do like the way it's designed. It almost looks like it's made out of berry leather. And then he lobs some sort of fire spell would be my guess. In fact, actually, here it is. He's lobbing various fire spells at these bombardier beetles. And I think we've got confirmation that flies are in the game now, as this helmet is very much a fly's helm. Those are fly eyes. That's fly fur. I don't think this is a bee. I mean, it could be a bee helm. That's entirely possible, but it doesn't look bee-like to me. It looks more like a fly. Yeah, look at that and tell me that's not a fly. This looks like a new design for stairs. I don't remember there being straight stairs in Grounded One that were wood in design. I know that there are grass ones. I know that there are mushroom ones, but I don't remember there being straight wood ones. The wood ones are always the curved acorn stairs. So this is nice. I always wanted this look in steps. And if this is in Grounded 1 and I'm just an idiot, please feel free to let me know. Unfortunately, it looks like mosquitoes are back. They were among my least favorite of the enemies in Grounded 1. But here they are, Grounded 2. I'm not surprised mosquitoes are back. Mosquitoes are everywhere. I just don't like them. I love this scene right here. This looks like the entrance to a dungeon. A proper terrifying dungeon entrance filled with the skulls of dead hamsters. From a weapons standpoint, it looks like we've got a new type of unarmed weapon over here on the right. It looks very similar to some of the unarmed stuff we saw before, except now this is more red and probably ant related. We can barely see it, but there's a new armor that he's wearing. I want to guess it's probably magic related, but what is this glowing stick in his hand? Is that a flare or is that a new kind of magic weapon? I don't know, but I'm curious to see what this glowing stick does. It's probably literally just that, a glow stick used for light. But if it is, why am I also having a torch equipped in my character's hand here? So I don't know what's going on, if PD just has the torch equipped and then he's going to throw the glow stick and then equip a weapon, or what. We also can see this bow. We don't get to see very much of it. It's shadowed, but it definitely looks like a different bow than one we've had before. So my guess is we're going to have more bow options than we did in the first Grounded game. And we've got another cool shot of what looks kind of like an upgraded Koltana, although I wouldn't call that a katana in general. It just looks like a flaming broadsword. So maybe we're going to have more than just the Koltana. We're going to have lots of different fire weapons, lots of different elemental weapons. Or maybe this is what happens when you add spicy to a weapon now. It changes its look and adds like a fire thing to it. In the background of this shot, we can see some raw science just kind of floating. Lets us know that there's still going to be just raw science roaming around that we can just pick up. So that'll be carried over from Grounded 1. And we've got another new greatsword. This one looks kind of like a praying mantis sword of some kind. It's definitely two-handed. It's got that green kind of praying mantis kind of look to it. But I'm curious to see what this sword actually is when we get in game. And we've got a new shield here that has a green tint to it also. Could be a praying mantis shield. Could be a bombardier beetle shield. It definitely has a look that it could belong to the bombardier beetle as well. In this shot, we see a bunch of stuff we've seen before. There's some spicy candy in the background. We've got egg sacs in the background for the spiders. We've got some gum in the background. We've got a pine cone in the background. So we can be sure that all of these things are returning in Grounded 2. Here's a better shot of that shield we were looking at earlier. And yeah, I kind of think it's a bombardier beetle shield myself. And then with this end scene here, we've got some crazed out orcs, because normally you only see that little crazy look in an insect's eye when it's infected, but this one has orc tech on it. So it looks like it's some sort of broken orc tech. And we've got a mixer in the background as well. And everything's got a purple theme to it. We've got this busted up, I know it's blurry, but we've got this busted up stink beetle here that also has the glowing weird eyes, and it's got the orc tech on it. There's a slightly better shot. And then we see this person. They've got a Koltana equipped, and they've got some sort of crazy samurai kind of armor equipped as well. Now, this is what people are suspecting is the 15. I think that this may be, yes, that teenager that we've been talking about. Again, I don't think it's the 15, but this is definitely really cool because it's got that same look, the helmet, the shape of the helmet and the points on the helmet look exactly the same as some of the graffiti that we have seen in other screenshots. I really like this hidden figure and that they're making them a part of the game, but I really hope it's not the 15 because that just seems like a cheap little cop-out. I hope it's a different group of teenagers. All right, guys, and that is it. We've gone through this entire trailer. I only skipped over the sections that clearly had absolutely nothing new or nothing interesting to talk about. So if you haven't seen the new Grounded story trailer yet, please be sure to check it out. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please be sure to do so, because I'm definitely going to be covering Grounded 2 when it hits early access. You're going to see some Let's Plays from me, and eventually we'll start to do some tutorials and stuff as I get more used to the game and as it moves through early access. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please be sure to hit that like button, and I will see you next time. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay crazy, everybody.